Assalamu alaikum to all. Hope you are well and doing great. So, today I am here to share something about evolution. So, let me do this. This topic, evolution, contain both instructive and educational content that is both shareable and easy to retain. So, without wasting our time, let's get in the video. What is evolution? If we see the simple definition, it is simply change over time. And if we see the biological evolution, is that distant with modifications, many and many small changes over long period of time that result in the formation of many different types of organisms. So this cycle shows that the fishes and the monkeys are the ancestors to man. Let's see the early theories of evolution. Evolutionary theories. It is unifying principle for all the biological sciences. It provides an explanation for the differences in structure, function, and behavior among life forms. It includes the change in characteristic of populations through generations. Thus, existing life forms have evolved from earlier life forms. So, first theory is the spontaneous generation, which was given by the Aristotle. Spontaneous generation was the mistaken idea that life can arise from the non-living materials. We now believe the cell theory. The cell theory states that all cells come from pre-existing cells. They believe that eel and frogs came from the mud of the Nile. An Aristotle active principle responsible for the life. Fleas come from the sweat, mice came from the garbage, fleas and maggots came from dead and decaying. According to his theory, he said that the life produced on the non living matters. Let's see the Lamarck theory. He proposed that life evolves or changes, explained evolution process of adaptation. The first attempt to explain the mechanism of evolution was made by Lamarck in 1809. He was a great French scientist. In his book Philosophy Zoologie, he put forward an explanation of evolution based on the inheritance of acquired characteristic and the law of use and disuse. According to him, new organs arise due to their needs of their organisms. ही सेड कि अगर कोई भी ऑर्गेनिज्म है उसको अगर किसी ऑर्गन की ज़रूरत है तो वो उसको जो है में तो वो उस ऑर्गन को डेवलप करेगा. ये थी उसकी एक लॉ ऑफ यूज़ एंड डिसयूज़. एंड देन ही प्रपोज द इनहेरिटेंस ऑफ एक्वायर्ड करेक्टरिस्टिक. This is defined as a structural change in the body of an organism evolving or deviation from the normal and induced in the lifetime of an individual by the change in environment or change in function. This theory states that the trait acquired by parents during their lifetime can be passed to the next generation. But this theory has no evidence. And next is August Weismann. He was helped to disprove the Lamarck's theory of inheritance of acquired trait. Then he did an experiment which is conducted that he involved removal of the trait of mice over several generations. He was trying to remove the tails of mice over generations to generation, and he thought के next generation में उसकी जो tail है वो remove होगी. But he found that the offspring of the tailless mice did not pass on that characteristic to their offspring. Now come to the next theory, which is given by De Vries. The term mutation was first given by De Vries to describe the sudden and drastic heritable changes in the population of a species. Such changes had been observed earlier also by many workers. Darwin called them sports, and Bateson referred to them as discontinuous variations. He discovered mutation and proposed that it was these mutations that were the source of new trait that permitted evolution to occur. And the one thing is, एवोल्यूशन जब भी एवोल्यूशन होगी तो म्यूटेशन उसके लिए बहुत ज़रूरी है. This was the one area in Darwin's theory that was weak. Darwin's theory did not account for the genetic basis of variation, but De Vries' theories account for the genetic basis of variation. Now see the Darwin's theory of evolution. A theory that exerted the greatest influence on the evolutionary thought is the theory of natural selection, which is put forth by the Darwin in his book Origin of Species in 1859. So first we will see the summary of Darwin's theory. There are 4 points. Number 1 is individual organisms in nature differ from one another. Some of this variation is inherited. Number 2, organisms in nature produce more offspring than can survive, and many to those that survive do not reproduce. Number 3, because more organisms are produced than can survive, members of each species must compete for resources. Because each organism is unique, each has different advantages and disadvantages in the struggle for existence. Point number 1 is some of this variation is inherited. Number 2 is they compete for food and for survive. It means they compete for resources. And number 3 is there is some advantages and disadvantages. This clip shows that evolution has taken place according to Darwin from monkey to man. He called that monkeys are the ancestors to man. Now we will see the types of evolution. There are 2 different types of evolution, microevolution and macroevolution. Microevolution, as the name indicates, micro means small. Small changes within a species occur. It takes decades or centuries. It means it takes short time to evolve. See this diagram. Here is the example of Galapagos finches who have the diversity on their beaks. So if we notice, their beaks vary according to their requirements of food. And now talk about macroevolution. Macro means large, so it take long time to evolve, which describe the pattern of changes in the group of related species over broad period of geological time. Here we see the example of modern horse, Eohippus to modern horse. Many changes occur in their shape, in their foot pads, in their size, length, everything. And the most important thing, they have their brain complexity. In the Eohippus, the brain is so small, but according to time, the modern horses has complexity in their brains. Now come to the topic causes of diversity. There are 2 causes of diversity. One is the theory of special creation and one is the theory of natural selection. According to theory of special creation, all living things came into existence in their present form, especially and specifically created by the nature. It means came into existence by the Creator, who is only one, our God. This theory is presented by Carolus Linnaeus. Theory of natural selection. This is proposed by the Aristotle, Lamarck, and Darwin. Theory of natural selection. Organism might evolve through time, which one type of organism giving rise to another type of organisms. As I told you before that this theory was presented by Aristotle, Lamarck, and Charles Darwin. Now come to the Lamarck's theory of evolution. Organisms constantly strive to improve themselves by changing. यानी कि जो भी ऑर्गेनिज्म है वो खुद से ट्राई करता है अपने अंदर मॉडिफिकेशन करना, अपने अंदर अडेप्टेशन करना, अपने इन्वायरमेंट के अकॉर्डिंग सेट होने के लिए. चेंजेस आर अडेप्टेशंस टू इन्वायरमेंट acquired in an organism's lifetime. A structure is modified or changed by the use or disuse. जो स्ट्रक्चर यूज़ हो रहा है वो अकॉर्डिंगली चेंज हो जाएगा, और जो स्ट्रक्चर ऑर्गन यूज़ नहीं हो रहा तो वो जो है लीव कर जाएगा बॉडी से. द मॉडिफिकेशन इज़ इनहेरिटेड टू द ऑफस्प्रिंग. जो भी मॉडिफिकेशन होगी वो इनहेरिटेड होगी ऑफस्प्रिंग के लिए. इनहेरिटेंस ऑफ एक्वायर्ड करेक्टर एज ही सेड, but this theory has no evidence. This is what I want to tell. The mostly common quoted example is that of giraffe. According to Lamarck, the long-necked giraffe has evolved from a short-necked grazing animals. When there is a scar on land, जब ग्रेजिंग एनिमल्स के लिए जो ग्रास है वो कम पड़ गई तो उन्होंने फिर अपने ट्रीज़ के लीव्स खाना शुरू कर दिए. द कॉन्स्टेंट स्ट्रेचिंग ऑफ द नेक अपवर्ड लेड टू द इलोंगेशन ऑफ देयर नेक, एंड दैट स्ट्रेस वॉज पास्ड along generation after generation, and finally the present long necked giraffe appeared. एंड दिस इज़ ड्रिवन बाय इनर नीड. उनको खुद को ज़रूरत थी तो उन्होंने अपने अंदर मॉडिफाई ये चीज़ की. तो पहली पिक्चर में देखे जिराफ ओरिजिनल एंड शॉर्ट नेक्ड एंसेस्टर है, एंड देन ही ट्राइंग टू कीप स्ट्रेचिंग neck to reach the leaves of higher plants, and stretching until neck becomes progressively longer. There are 7 evidences of evolution. Number 1 is fossil records. Remains और imprints of past life. As we know कि fossils जो हैं वो सेव कर लिए जाते हैं, तो और वो उनके एविडेंस हैं कि एवोल्यूशन हुई थी. जैसे कि डायनासोर्स के हमने फॉसिल्स देखे हैं, तो फिर हमें पता लगा कि डायनासोर भी दुनिया में मौजूद थे. और preserved in sediments, occurred in layers. Fossil in different layers of rocks showed evidence of gradual change over time. ये एक बहुत स्लो प्रोसेस है कि फॉसिल्स को बनने में बहुत टाइम लगता है कि कोई चीज़ जब एक्सटिंक्ट हो जाती है तो उसके फॉसिल जो हैं वो आहिस्ता आहिस्ता चेंज ओवर टाइम के साथ साथ बनते हैं और फिर जो है एक सबूत देते हैं हमें कि कोई चीज़ यहाँ पर प्रेजेंट थी. एंड नेक्स्ट इज़ टेक्सोनोमी, यानी कि हम क्लासेस बना लेते हैं, क्लासिफाई कर देते हैं हर एक ऑर्गेनिज्म को. हायरार्किकल क्लासिफिकेशन स्ट्रक्चर developed by Linnaeus employs that species can be grouped together based on their relatedness. जितना एक स्पीशी दूसरे स्पीशी के साथ रिलेट करेगी तो हम उनको एक ही फैमिली के अंदर प्लेस कर देंगे. लाइक bears with bears, bees with other bees. A family tree can be made employing descent. The next is comparative anatomy. अब हमने कंपेयर करना है उनके स्ट्रक्चर को, एनाटॉमी स्ट्रक्चर को बोलते हैं कि स्ट्रक्चर देखेंगे हम कि कौन से ऑर्गेनिज्म का डिफरेंट और स्ट्रक्चर है और कौन से ऑर्गेनिजम्स का स्ट्रक्चर थोड़ा बहुत मिलता जुलता है. Or if we find similar structures in two or more species are called homologous structures. Homologous structures may perform different tasks in different organisms. स्ट्रक्चर सेम है, मे बी उनका वर्क जो है वो डिफरेंट हो हर डिफरेंट ऑर्गेनिज्म के अंदर. कंपैरेटिव एनाटॉमिकल स्ट्रक्चर एविडेंस ऑफ एवोल्यूशन. ओके, scientists noticed animal with backbones vertebrate had similar bone structures may different in form or function. Limb bones develop in similar patterns. Arms, wings, legs, flippers. Like जो हमारी limb bones हैं, हमारे अंदर आर्म्स का काम कर रही हैं, बर्ड्स के अंदर विंग्स का काम कर रही हैं, कुछ लोगों के अंदर कुछ स्पीशीज़ के अंदर लेग्स के तौर पर काम कर रही हैं और कुछ के अंदर फ्लिपर्स के तौर पर. So they have the same structure but having different functions. Structure that have different mature forms, nature forms but develop from the same embryonic tissues. Strong evidence that all four-limbed animals with backbone descend with modification form a common ancestor. Evidence of evolution number 4, comparative embryology. एम्ब्रियोज़ को अगर हम देखें तो काफ़ी सारे जो एम्ब्रियोज यंग स्टेज पर जब होते हैं तो 2 और 1 स्टेज पर जब होते हैं तो उनके एम्ब्रियो काफ़ी सेम होते हैं, लाइक फिशेस के, फ्रॉग्स के. तो इनके एम्ब्रियो काफ़ी सेम है. दे हैव द सेम एम्ब्रियोनिक स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ डिफरेंट स्पीशीज शोज सिग्निफिकेंट सिमिलैरिटीज, सिमिलर फीचर्स ड्यू टू शेयर्ड एंसेस्ट्री. And next is the biogeography. Biogeography is the distribution of species. Many related species occur across the same earth. Like isolated areas हैं, वहाँ पर unique species ही मौजूद होंगी. Biogeography explained by continental drift of plates and speciation. Molecular biology include comparison of protein sequences, DNA sequences, chloroplast genomes, plants only. They used to develop phylogenetic trees, hypothesized relationship. Now come to the misconceptions about evolution. Evolution is just a theory or the best guess, so it is not supported by the scientific evidences. Organisms change and evolve because they have desired to do so. We can't see evolution happening. Evolution leads to more advanced organisms that are climbing the evolutionary ladder. Evolution occurs in individual organisms. Now, let's discuss about the causes of evolution. What cause evolution to occur? So there is mutation, natural selection, gene flow, genetic drift. Let's discuss them one by one. Number 1 is mutation. Mutation, as we know, is the change, and this term is given by D. Berries. Mutation is the change of the structure of genes resulting in the variant form and that may be transmitted to subsequent generations caused by the alternation of single base unit in DNA or the deletion, insertion or rearrangement of larger section of genes or chromosomes. There are 3 types of mutation named as gene mutation, chromosomal mutation and genomatic mutation. This is an example of mutation occur in the beetles. In this, new alleles are produced which after being shuffled in the various combinations. Here in the green beetle, the new alleles are formed which is of orange color, and then when they mate there is shuffling of the alleles occur. And what causes of mutation? Number one is the radiation. Radiation may be natural or man-made. Natural radiation arise from the cosmic rays and radioactive element. However, these account for only 1% of the spontaneous natural mutation. Man-made radiations are produced by the X-rays machines and the nuclear power plants. X-rays and other ionizing radiation mutation and chromosomal abbreviation by disrupting the chemical structure of chromosome. And the second is extreme in temperature. If the temperature is too high and too low, that may cause mutation. And the number 3 is chemical agents. Chemical mutagens, for example, mustard gas, nitrogen gas, nitric acid. These are the examples that cause mutation. Types of mutation. Mutation may be happens in the somatic cells or in the gamete cell. Somatic सेल में जो म्यूटेशन होगी वो आगे फ्यूचर जनरेशन के अंदर ट्रांसफ़र नहीं होगी, बट जो म्यूटेशन गैमीट्स में होगी वो आगे ट्रांसफ़र होगी. क्यों? क्योंकि जब सोमैटिक सेल्स में म्यूटेशन होगी तो सोमैटिक सेल कांट रिप्रोड्यूस. जब वो रिप्रोड्यूस ही नहीं करेंगे तो डिजीज़ आगे नहीं जाएगी. बट इफ़ द म्यूटेशन अकर इन द गैमीट्स then that will be transferred into the future generation. Mutation may cause a sheep to have a fifth leg. There is some disease that cause the sheep to have fifth leg, but this is a disease, not the evolution. I repeat, this is not the evolution. Anyhow, now come to the next topic, that is gene flow. Next cause, not the topic. Gene flow is the movement of alleles from one population to another. An example is here. The population of brown beetles, in which one allele is came into the next population of green beetles. There is two significance of this gene flow. The number one, it can play a role similar to the mutation. It can produce new alleles into the population, and thus the new type of population will be happen. Gene flow, and the number two is gene flow tends to make a gene pool of different population more similar and thus reduces the genetic variability between population. This is the clear and the most understanding example of gene flow. Next is migration. Migration, we know that it is movement. Migration is the movement of individuals from one population to another, or the movement of breeding individuals into or out of the isolated population. This is also known as gene flow. Migration may be of two types, immigration or emigration. Immigration means the movement of people to a country, and emigration means the movement of people from a country. Non-random mating. Sexual selection occurs when certain traits increase mating success. इसका एक सिग्निफिकेंस ये है कि किसी भी इंडिविजुअल के पास ज़्यादा चांस है कि वो मेट कर सके जिसके साथ मर्जी. दे हैव देयर ओन चॉइस टू मेट विद. Non-random mating means that individuals of many species have a choice about which partners to mate with. The result of non-random mating is that some individuals have more opportunity to mate than others and thus produce more offspring. Non-random mating frequently occurs when there is preference for a particular type of mate. Non-random mating doesn't change allele frequency, but it can change the genotype frequencies. Hence, it can cause the evolution of population, which refers to the change in either allele or in genotype frequencies. Genetic drift. Genetic drift only occurs when a population is so small that allele frequencies may be altered by random chance with no selective pressures. Genetic drift basically होता क्या है कि it's a change in the gene pool that is brought about by the chance के साथ change हो जाना and has nothing to do with natural selection is called genetic drift. Genetic drift is nothing more than the sampling error which can allow certain genes to take over the population, coming to the exist in 100% of the organism simply by a chance. It means genetic drift only happens when the chance happens. Genetic drift is not a major force in large population, but it can be important in small ones. The population in which the genetic drift is most likely to play a major role typically has 100 or fewer individuals. Example, if we take an example, this is the example of beetle population. Imagine a beetle population where 40% are green and 60% are brown. अब इनकी पॉपुलेशन बहुत स्मॉल है, छोटी है, लेकिन अलील फ्रीक्वेंसीज अल्टर्ड होंगी रैंडमली विद अ चांस. तो फिर यानी कि कोई सेलेक्टिव प्रेशर नहीं होगा, बट अलील्स जो हैं वो चांस के साथ अल्टर्ड हो जाएंगी और पॉपुलेशन एक न्यू बन जाएगी. सो दिस विल हैपन व्हेन द चांस विल हैपन. जेनेटिक ड्रिफ्ट जो है वो यानी कि डिपेंड ऑन द फिटेस्ट. Fittest mean chance of survivorship. Genetic drift is a random change in the allele frequencies from one generation to the next. I repeat, this is the random change. Individuals who survive and pass on their genes are not necessarily the fittest. This is also an example in which frogs, they having the chance to mate with, because they have a very small population, in which the pink ones died because they don't mate and have no food, no space, so they died. And green and parrot mate with each other and having the new population, but it's with the chance. And here's the beetle, so same as the frogs. It leads to the loss of genetic variations. There are two types of genetic drift: bottleneck and founder effect. If we talk about the bottleneck effect can readily alter the gene frequencies of a large population in a relatively short period of time. And if we see the founder effect occurs when allele frequencies in a group of migrating individuals are by chance not the same as those of parents' population. Founder effect and bottleneck effect occur when a population originates or is rebuilt from a very few individuals. कुछ population जैसे 30% थी और 60% थी, उन दोनों ने मिलके एक न्यू population बनाया, तो सिर्फ उसी से ये ओरिजिनेट करेगा. इन बोथ केसेस द अमाउंट ऑफ जेनेटिक वेरिएशन इन अ पॉपुलेशन में बी severely limited. And I want to tell you about the salient features of genetic drift. Number one is genetic drift is an important evolutionary force, particularly in small populations. Genetic drift also occur in the large population, but in these cases its effects are more easily overcome by natural selection and other evolutionary forces. Thus, in large population, genetic drift causes little change in allele or genotype frequencies over time. Number third is when population is small, usually less than 100 members, the effect of genetic drift can be very strong and can influence the microevolution. जब बहुत ज़्यादा मेंबर्स होंगे तो इसका इफ़ेक्ट जो है वो स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं हो पाएगा और इवन शायद एवोल्यूशन भी ना हो पाए. लेकिन जब पॉपुलेशन जो है उसका साइज़ कम होता है तो जेनेटिक ड्रिफ्ट बहुत इफ़ेक्टिवली इन्फ्लुएंस करती है उस पर और एवोल्यूशन भी हो सकती है. नंबर 4 इज़ जेनेटिक ड्रिफ्ट में बी टुवर्ड यूज़फुल एडेप्टेशन और अवे फ्रॉम दैम. It is totally non-random process. Non-random process by the chance, no selective pressure. This is all the genetic drift. There is a tendency in small inbreeding population for heterozygous gene pair to become homozygous. By fixing certain genes in a population, the genetic drift tend to reduce the variation that can occur. It may explain the common observation that closely related species in the different part of the world frequently differ in curious ways which have no adaptive value. Now let's step into the next, natural selection, the most important features of evolution. The concept of common descent and natural selection were first proposed by the Charles Darwin in his famous book The Origin of Species in 1859. Natural selection is the process where inheritable traits that make it more likely for an organism to survive long enough to reproduce become more common over successive generations of a population. It is the key mechanism of evolution. Now step into the example. The Galapagos finches, who have the diversity in their beaks, are the excellent example of this process. Among the birds that ended up in the arid environment, the one with beaks better suited for eating cactus got more food. Because the Galapagos finches have the variety of in their beaks, so they can easily survive into the arid environment. As a result, they were in better condition to mate. They can mate, they can produce a large population. So this is the natural selection. Similarly, those with beak shapes that were better suited to getting nectar from flowers or eating hard seed in other environment were at an advantage there. It is in a very real sense, nature selected the best adapted varieties. So the end is nature selected. This process has come to be known as natural selection. There are four steps of natural selection: overproduction, variation, competition, and selection. We will talk about them out one by one. Charles Darwin in 19th century, an English naturalist, proposed that evolution occurred as the result of natural selection, having four steps. Now see the details of the steps. Overproduction. Within a population, more offspring are produced in each generation than can survive because of limitations of space and food. All plants and animals tend to multiply at a high geometrical rate. For example, I am going to tell you about the example of overproduction. Elephant is perhaps the most slow breeder of animals. We know that it's a small breeder. Its average lifespan is about 100 years with an active breeding period of about 60 years. During this period, of single female will produce 6 offspring. If all these survive to a full length of life and reproduce at the same rate, the number of descendants from a single pair after only 750 years would be to the tune of 19 million individuals. So this is the overproduction. And if we see the next example of a plant, shepherd purse produces nearly 40,000 seeds, and the evening primrose more than 118,000 seeds. If all the offspring of any species should survive and these reproduce again and again and again, This single species will occupy all the available space on this earth in a few generations. Because they produce 40,000 and 118,000 seeds. So this is also the example of overproduction. Next is the competition. Individuals compete for their available of food and opportunity to mate and reproduce. Let's see the detail of this. Since more organisms of each kind are born than could possible obtain food and survive, there is a struggle for their survival. There is a struggle. Struggle is many angled phenomenon. It is for food, it is for space, and in case of plant or light, it is against enemies and predators that kill and destroy. It is against the climatic factor like heat, cold, drought, and excess of moisture. It is against the natural calamities such as flood, fire, earthquake, volcanic eruption, glaciation. So they have more struggle, more competition between each others, between the individual of the same species. Intraspecific individuals of the same species compete with one another for similar requirements like food, shelter, breeding areas. For example, in struggle for their food, a lizard feed on ants and is preyed upon by a snake while kite feed on both. So there is a competition. Now jump to the next topic, next step, that is variation. Within each generation, some individuals are better to fitted to survive than others because of the variation in their characteristic. They have different characteristic. The variation are of three kinds: neutral, harmful, and useful. So neutral variation gives possessor neither any advantage nor any disadvantage in the struggle and are of significance to the organism. इट मीन्स कि एक ऑर्गेनिज्म है, अगर उसमें न्यूट्रल वेरिएशन हो रही है तो इसका मतलब है कि वो किसी को ना नुकसान दे रहा है ना किसी को फ़ायदा दे रहा है. सो दिस इज़ न्यूट्रल. एंड द नेक्स्ट इज़ हार्मफुल. एज देयर नेम इंडिकेट्स इट विल बी हार्मफुल. Make it possessor unfit in the struggle for existence and will lead to its extermination. Extermination means extinct. Useful variation will be useful. Useful variation will be more successful in the struggle for existence. If we take the example of development of thick exoskeleton in the terrestrial forms, protect them against water loss. These animals are better equipped to terrestrial life than those with soft skin, having danger of desiccation. Similarly, variations that increase the speed of an animal or improve its sensitivity of hearing, sight will help it in escaping and predators, improve its chance of survival. So this is all about variation. Next step is the survival of the fittest. According to Darwin, out of vast number of individuals which compete for a place in the world, some possess advantageous variation and some are in consequence preserved, while those who do not possess these variations will die. The advantageous variation are passed down from generation to the generation. Thus, variation and heredity together with struggle for existence bring about what Darwin called natural selection. Spencer was a scientist who used the term survival of the fittest to indicate the automatic elimination of the less fit or imperfect forms. जो भी स्पीशी, जो भी इंडिविजुअल अपने इन्वायरमेंट के हिसाब से लेस फिट होगा और इम्परफेक्ट होगा तो वो ऑटोमेटिकली एलिमिनेट कर जाएगा उस पॉपुलेशन से, उस एरिया से. सो दिस इज़ द ऑल अबाउट सर्वाइवल ऑफ द फिटेस्ट. नेक्स्ट इज़ द ट्रांसमिशन ऑफ फेवरेबल ट्रेट्स, reproduction. Natural selection is the only evolutionary mechanism that consistently favor alleles that improve the reproductive success of the organism in its environment. Plus, I want to talk about the facts of natural selection. So, fact number one is all species have such great potential fertility that their population size would increase exponentially if all individual born would again reproduce successfully. So, the fact number is कि हर तरह की जो स्पीशी है उसके अंदर पोटेंशियल है कि वो रिप्रोड्यूस करे, वो अपना पॉपुलेशन साइज को इंक्रीज़ करे, and they will reproduce, so it's a successfully population will stand. So the fact number two is except for minor annual fluctuations, जो भी fluctuations आ जाती हैं, and occasional major fluctuations, the population normally displays stability. अब population को stable भी होना है हर तरह की fluctuations के अंदर. Fact number three, natural resources are limited in a stable environment, they remain relatively constant. Fact number four, no two individuals are exactly the same, rather every population displays enormous variability. हर population different वेरिएट करता है और कोई भी इंडिविजुअल दूसरे इंडिविजुअल के इक्वल नहीं होगा, हर एक में कुछ ना कुछ डिफरेंस रहेगा. फैक्ट नंबर फाइव, मच ऑफ दिस वेरिएशन इज हेरिटेबल. As natural selection may be stabilizing, directional, and disruptive. What the mean of stabilizing? Stabilizing selection favors intermediate form of trait and operates against extreme form. Hence, the frequencies of alleles representing the extreme forms decreases. So, this is the stability of the selection. Environment remains constant. And directional selection shift the phenotype character of a population as a whole, either in response to a directional change in the environment or either in response to a new environment. Hence, the allelic frequencies underlying the range of phenotype more in a steady direction. It brings about the progressive evolution. This directional selection will bring about the progressive evolution. And next is the disruptive selection. Disruptive selection favors extreme forms of a trait that operates against intermediate form, hence the frequencies of allele representing the extreme forms increases. This type of selection is, by the way, very rare. So the Darwin theory have the weak points also. Darwin theory does not explain the presence of useless or vestigial organs. It fails to explain the origin of variation. It may be effective in modifying characters already present, but it cannot produce new ones. Darwinism explains the survival of fittest but does not explain the arrival of the fittest. It does not explain the overspecialization of particular structure. For example, antlers of Irish were so enormously developed that they led to the extinction of the species. It could not tell whether insects are acquired and modified through natural selection or not. The main is theory of natural selection does not explain the origin and development of the coordinated sets of structure and co-adaptations. Adaptations such as electric organs in fishes or mimicry in animals cannot be explained by natural selection. This picture shows clearly that natural selection all about. Each species shows variation. There is competition within each species for food, living space, water mates, as I told you before. The better adapted members of the species are more likely to survive. Survival of the fittest. These survival will pass on the better generation to the offspring who will show this beneficial variation. This is all about the short steps of variation, that is overproduction, competition, variation, and the survival of the fittest. Now come to the tempo and mode in evolution. There are two types of tempos in evolution. Firstly, I will tell you about this with the help of this diagram or a picture. Two models, gradualist model and punctuated equilibrium model. We will talk about first the gradualist model. It is the slow change in the any species allele to be changed. So first is, if we see this butterfly, हम इस butterfly को अगर हम देखें तो इसमें और नेक्स्ट स्टेप की जो बटरफ्लाइज हैं वो उससे थोड़ी बहुत भी डिफरेंट नहीं है, इवन थोड़ी सी है बिल्कुल। और आगे बहुत ग्रेजुअल चेंज है, यानी कि हल्का हल्का चेंज आ रहा है। ऑरेंज से थोड़ा सा येलो होने लग गया इस तरफ, एंड फिर येलो ही है और फिर एक वाइट बटरफ्लाई बनेगी एक बहुत स्लो प्रोसेस के बाद जाकर। और यहाँ पर येलो में हल्का हल्का ब्राउन आ रहा है एंड देन ऑरेंज कलर ऑफ बटरफ्लाई विल हैपन। तो इट इज़ वेरी मच स्लो चेंज that a brown yellow butterfly will produce two different butterfly, white and orange, between 3 generations. After 3 generations she will produce the two new butterflies. But in the punctuated equilibrium model, a butterfly after 1 generation she produced the rapid change. 3 different types of butterfly she will form. So this is very fast equilibrium model and this is the gradualist model. Models of the tempo of evolution. Punctuated equilibrium evolution occurs in a short period of rapid change. यानी कि जैसे मैंने आपको पीछे बताया कि मॉर्फोलॉजी कितनी उसकी स्लो फास्ट चेंज हो रही है पंचुएटेड इक्विलिब्रियम के अकॉर्डिंग। टाइम उतना ही है, उसका टाइम भी उतना ही है, लेकिन जो चेंज है ग्रेजुअल चेंज था उसमें और इसमें ज़रा फास्ट चेंज है। तो एक जो बटरफ्लाई है वो जस्ट आफ्टर 1 generation शी विल प्रोड्यूस अ न्यू टाइप ऑफ बटरफ्लाई. So this is the punctuated equilibrium. In 1972, Niles of the American Museum of Natural History, the Stephan proposal a hypothesis called punctuated equilibrium that include two separate proposals. So let's discuss what are the proposals. The first proposal is that most evolutionary change are rapid bursts of the speciation. They suggest that small population become isolated from large population and new adaptations very rapidly in these new small groups. This speciation even is rapid in geological time and produces a sudden burst of change that quickly originate the brand new species. The brief period of evolutionary changes are called punctuations. During this period the lineages actually branch or split. यहाँ पर जैसे कि आपने देखा कि अब एक जो है बटरफ्लाई वो डायरेक्टली विद इन अ शॉर्ट टाइम दैट इज स्प्लिट आउट इनटू द 2 generations. तो अगर जो भी पॉपुलेशन ज़्यादा होगी वो उससे डिफरेंट करके एक न्यू और स्मॉल ग्रुप की पॉपुलेशन बनाएगी. The second proposal is that once species are formed in such a way, they remain virtually the same for the rest of their existence or until they become extinct. अब मिड वाली जो बटरफ्लाई है इट इज सेम इन द, तो ये डायरेक्टली जो है इसी बटरफ्लाई, ये जो मिड वाली बटरफ्लाई थी, सॉरी, द मिड बटरफ्लाई इज सेम, इसका एंसेस्टर भी सेम रहेगा और इसकी ये तब तक इसके साथ ही रहेगी, remain virtually the same for the rest of their existence or until they become extinct. The long period of geological time during which no changes occur represent the period of stasis or period of equilibria. The pace of evolution need not to be constant. The evolution within a lineage or group may occur in the gradually in small adaptive step, or it may occur in spurts in which species form and remain unchanged or for long periods followed by the period of rapid change. In short, punctuated equilibrium argues that evolutionary history consists of geologically long period of stasis with little or no evolution, interruption or fluctuation. By geologically short period of rapid evolution, punctuated equilibrium models is inconsistent with the observation that there are few intermediate forms or in the fossils record between closely related species. Now step out to the next model, which is the theory of gradualism. Gradualism, slow change. As new species evolve, they appear very similar to the original species and only gradually become more distinct. यानी कि जब ये स्पीशी इवॉल्व होगी, ठीक है, तो जिसके जो नेक्स्ट जनरेशन है वो उससे काफ़ी सेम रहेगा. बहुत टाइम के बाद जाकर वो एक न्यू पॉपुलेशन बनाएगा. स्मॉल चेंजेस एक्यूमुलेट ग्रेजुअली ओवर मिलियन ऑफ ईयर्स. As Darwin and neo-Darwinists argue that evolution occurs by gradual accumulation of small changes involving millions of years to bring about the change. So they use the term phyletic gradualism. Phyletic gradualism brings about a very slow, steady branching and slow divergence of two populations, as modification of one or two branches result in two new species. The discovery of importance of mutation, gene flow, genetic drift, mating, as well as natural selection seemed to confirm Darwin's view that most evolution occur in small adaptive steps. So this thing is the true that gradual change will occur. This view, however, has been criticized by many paleontologists who contend that fossil evidence does not show a gradual succession of forms. So now this is all about the natural selection, and now we will step out into the patterns of evolution.
Let's start. As new species form and adapt to their environment through the process of natural selection, different patterns of evolution may emerge. These may be categorized as under divergent evolution, adaptive radiation, convergent evolution, parallel evolution, and coevolution. Now, let's have a look at the explanation of these topics one by one. Divergent evolution is the most common pattern of the evolution. It occurs when two or more species evolve from a single ancestral species and then become increasingly different over time. It actually forms the basis of phylogenetic branches, whereby one ancestral species gives rise to two distinct lineages of organisms that continue to diverge. Let's have a look on the example of divergent evolution. Monkeys and apes diverge from a common ancestor, as did apes and humans. Divergent evolution may happen as a result of allopatric and sympatric speciation. Now, what is allopatric speciation? Allopatric speciation is the reproductive isolation of a group due to some kind of geographical barrier, while sympatric speciation is the reproductive isolation of a group without some geographical barrier. So what's the reason behind this? The reason of sympatric speciation is the polyploidy, in which the tetraploid individual is produced who is unable to mate. So it creates reproductive isolation. The second pattern of evolution is adaptive radiation. Sometimes, when members of a species move into a new area which is with diverse habitats, single new species gives rise to a variety of forms which occupy different habitats. There are some advantages of adaptive radiation, which are it enables organisms to exploit a number of ecological niches. It reduces competition. So, more food is available, more space is available, and organisms will produce more offsprings. Darwin's finches is an excellent example of adaptive radiation. Let's discuss the third pattern of evolution, which is convergent evolution. When different ancestors colonize similar habitats, they may independently acquire similar adaptations and resemble one another superficially. This phenomenon is convergent evolution. Let's have a look on the example of convergent evolution. Dolphin, ichthyosaurs, and sharks superficially look similar. Why? Because they are adapted to aquatic lifestyle. But all these are not fishes. Only shark is a fish, and dolphin is a mammal, and ichthyosaur is a reptile. The fourth pattern of evolution is parallel evolution. When two or more distinct lineages evolve along similar lines under the influence of similar environment, then we call it as parallel evolution. To understand it better, let's look at the example. Evolution of marsupials in Australia and evolution of placental mammals in all the continents of the world except Australia. They evolve along similar lines under the influence of similar environment. Australia is an island continent which was separated from other continents of the world about 60 million years ago, and this time period is before the emergence of placental mammals. Placental mammals are not found in Australia. Why? Because there is a barrier and placental mammals can't cross that. And there are no land bridges for them to go to Australia, so they are not found there. The fifth pattern of evolution is coevolution. The term coevolution is coined by Paul Ehrlich and Peter Raven in 1964. It is actually a tit-for-tat evolution. When two species evolve in such a way that changes in one species causes reciprocal changes in the other, then we call it as coevolution. There are a lot of examples of coevolution. Coevolution occurs between predator and prey, plant and plant-eating insects, parasites and hosts, pollinators and flowering plants. So, this was all about my presentation. Thanks a lot.